I've been talking about Elon Musk has been talking about a demographic crisis for such a long time. I think that we might see a population, the world population peak much sooner than they predict. Okay, we have two different articles today, and they're both very similar. Okay, the Philippines birth rate is at 1.9. Okay, yeah. Okay, the total fertility rate of Philippines has plummeted. Similar to Latin America. Latin America, we already covered Latin America. And Hispanic, it's saving of Hispanic Americans as well. The birth rate in Latin America is collapsing. Hispanic birth rate in America is collapsing. Like, they were talking about, oh, but, Hispanic, but the Hispanic birth rate is dropping so massively. Okay, that the whole idea of the immigrant, oh, we need immigrants, but then the countries that we get immigrants from have already pretty low birth rates already. Like, Mexico's birth rate is only 2.0. Okay. And Colombia is even lower, I think. I think the highest is, like, Guatemala is, like, 2.9, or I think that's the highest. Or, of course, Haiti has 2.8, but this goes into another thing that is also very concerning as well. Like, I have been looking up on stuff, like, about the demographic crisis. We're entering into a large demographic crisis. Okay, the world is entering a large demographic crisis that I think is going to affect the whole world massively. And there's two demographic crises. There's underpopulation and there's overpopulation. Yes, and the overpopulation solely in Africa. Okay, solely in Africa. Okay, that's where the overpopulation really is still. Okay, but the world, including Asia, including India, including Latin America, including China, is that whole world, and of course the West, is now grappling with an underpopulation crisis. And no amount of immigration is gonna fix an underpopulation crisis. Okay, we have this. Falling sperm count is observed around the world. Okay, but it's finding a looming crisis and a canary in the coal mine that could threaten mankind's survival. Okay, this is something that is ignored by science because, of course, because they're all talking about, and other stuff. I'm not going to say anything, but I think this crisis is a bigger crisis. The demographic crisis is a bigger crisis than global warming. Okay, I'm just out there saying that. Okay, this here, right here, is a bigger crisis than global warming. Okay, this is a crisis that I think we should be looking at, not global warming. Okay, or climate change, or climate crisis, what they're going to say now. Okay, and this demographic crisis is a more worrying crisis. And I'm saying, no amount of immigration is going to solve the demographic crisis. It's only going to cause, if you look at history, if you look at countries like, America's become like Austria-Hungary and the Balkans, basically. And, of course, the Soviet Union. But, again, there is a decline in reproductive function. And it's not just in the Western world, obviously. It's around, this is global. Global. In every country. This is a problem in every country in the world. Okay? We need to find a reason and a solution to this problem. Okay? And this is also goes into the Philippines. Birth rate has fallen so dramatically that it is below replacement rate now. The Philippines' birth rate has fallen so dramatically, similar to Latin America's birth rate, has fallen so dramatically that it is below replacement rate. Okay? Okay, which means the Philippines by 2050 to 2060, its population will start to collapse, like Latin America's is. Okay? Yeah. And the difference between places like Latin America and Philippines in the West is that Europe and the West are rich countries. Imagine a demographic crisis in a poor country like Brazil, Philippines, and, of course, India. Okay? They're not exactly rich countries. Okay? India is a very poor country. Mexico is a really poor country compared to America and compared to Europe. Philippines, obviously, Indonesia, Thailand, all these countries, but the birth rate in all these countries are collapsing. Okay? There is a demographic crisis. This demographic crisis can no longer be ignored. Okay? this demographic crisis can no longer be ignored. Okay, it can no longer be ignored in the world. Okay, it can no longer be ignored. The fact that a country like the Philippines is going to have a declining population soon is very, very concerning as well. Okay. Yeah. And this whole thing is a problem. Okay. Yeah. Philippines has joined the rest of the world, most of the world, in below replacement. Middle East, except for Iraq and Syria and Saudi Arabia, most of the Middle East, most of Asia, and most of Latin America, and of course the West. Most of the world has below replacement with fertility. Countries that have successfully tried to reverse Russia and Hungary, they're doing a pretty good job at trying to reverse the demographic trends. And of course, there are two countries that are not saying, oh yeah, but immigration is a solution. Immigration is not a solution to this problem. Because eventually, countries like India are going to have for example, look at India's birth. Here, India's birth rate is only 2.18. India's birth rate is only 2.18. Okay, currently. Okay, 2020. It's obviously lower now, but yeah, but India's birth rate has declined in 2021 and 2022. So, India's birth rate has declined to very low numbers compared to what it used to be. And a lot of Indian states already have very low birth rates, like Sikkim 0.7. Okay, that's in urban places, but in India as a whole has a birth rate of 2.0. Okay. Highest is Bihar, and that place in Uttar Pradesh. But most of India has below replacement rate. So most of India is going to suffer a demographic decline as well. So, this, and the same thing in Mexico as well. You can go to Mexico's birth rate. It's actually, I think, 2.0 now. It will probably, and I think very, very soon it will fall below replacement rate as well. Mexico's birth rate will probably fall below replacement rate, probably next year or 2024 as well. Okay. And this goes hand in hand with this. Foreign sperm count observed around the world. And of course, more and more women going to go child-free around the world. So, as well. And then if we have macro trends, Mexico's birth rate, it is declining, obviously, as well. So most of the third world is going to now join what the West and East Asia are struggling with now, which means the whole immigration thing is gonna fall flat in the next couple of years, because now they're gonna be suffering. They're gonna start to say, we're gonna be having the same thing the rest of the world is suffering, basically. Yeah, Mexico's fertility rate. And Philippines, I think they need to update that one as well. But yeah, Philippines' birth rate has dramatically declined as well. So this is, of course, not good for anyone, obviously. But, again, that's basically what this video. Goodbye.